The next question is converting units. It's still 500,000. I can even skip that one because it's so easy. The redemption plans. It's a dirty word from other projects that have thought about redemption. So when you mention that, other groups might jump on that and say, hey, redemptions don't work. Our redemption plan is only allowed to redeem funds past the 500,000 initial investment when your sustainment period is over. Compliant or not compliant?
Well, yeah, we signed off on it, right? So yes. Redemption is just one of those words, like Colin is saying, it should be something very simple. And in the real world, investment world, it's not a big deal, but for USCIS, it's something that is easy to seize on. It sounds scary, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's very clear. You just have to sustain your money throughout your sustainment period. So after you get your conditional green card and after those 2 years is over, you're eligible for redemption under the plan.
Yeah, I think, if you take a step back and you compare to other projects and you just look at the regulations, right? If I'm an EB-5 investor, it says my investment needs to be stayed into the project until I file the A29, right? A29 regulations say fully invested, remained invested, jobs were created. If you're a regional center, if you're a project, right? If you're an EB-5 lender, the regulations say that the investor cannot have the opportunity to claw back their money. There can be no trigger in the documents that say once they reach the A29 filing, they can receive a return of their money. Because if that's in there, the application's denied, right? So there's two ways to look at this if you're a regional center. There's really no ability for an investor to get money back, okay? There's no requirement that if my project is terminated or is completed and paid back, what's the requirement on what I do next with this money? USCIS doesn't say, it just says it has to be at risk, right? So if I'm a regional center, I'm raising money from all over the world, right? I get a French investor. Well, that timeline for the French investor is probably 5 years, but then I also have 5 Chinese investors and maybe an Indian national and a Vietnamese investor. We're now looking at an 18-year loan period under the documents that you signed if I wanted to do that as the regional center. I can hold your money for 18 years. You can't really say anything because if you get your money back prior to the A29, you lose your green card, right? Your time investment. And not only can I hold your money for 18 years, you're getting a quarter point for those 18 years. And you don't even really have any input or say over what the risk profile is and what I'm going to do it next. So there are some regional centers in this world. I'm not going to name them. But they are very, very interested in keeping the regulations exactly where they are, protecting the status quo, because they know they are going to turn your money over 16 times. They don't even care if they get another EB-5 investor because they have thousands already with them in the pipeline. This is just free money coming in and doing the initial funding round of whatever project they want to do next. They can underwrite anything they want because they have cheap EB-5 money. That's really what's dramatically different here. Right? This is what Colin is saying, is that I'm not holding your feet to the fire, right? When you're ready to go, you're ready to go. And because the regulations are unclear, but we have the foresight of what is coming down the pipe, we need to create these different classes at these different price points in different categories so we have the flexibility to move in and out. And by the way, we'll know what the next project is coming up further down the line if this is what you want to roll your money into.
And then so part of this is, you guys don't see it as much, but on the project side and regional center side and from the market side, most people's interests are really just to maintain the status quo. Like Colin is saying, it's very easy to do the simple thing and to do it over and over and over again. If there is not a lot of guidance about what you have to do with the money at the sustaining period, like Nima said, most people are kind of motivated to just hold on to your money and then not tell you where it goes and just roll it over infinity. Right? So a lot of other projects out there, not only are the investors unknowingly locked into those projects, that money's going to be rolled over somewhere else without any knowledge of where it's going to go. They don't necessarily get a higher return. They have very little control, very little options here. What Colin and his team has done here is pretty unique in the sense that most regional centers don't really want to give investors a lot of options. So a very simple question you can ask is, to just about every single project you're considering, if I'm done in my sustainment period, where does my money go? What options do I have? That's a pretty good starting point.
Okay, and to finalize this 924 segment of like, will we have approvals and going through the new innovations and are they compliant? Other competitors are going to see what we're doing, and it's going to ruin their status quo. They're going to be upset about it. They're going to throw cold water all over it as fast as they can, because you're not going to be able to compete with a more attractive option than whatever it was that they were selling. But just know that this group, with thousands of business plans behind them, thousands of economic studies, thousands of approvals, this was put together with extreme sophistication and a lot of really capable hands. This is not a fly-by-night attempt at just being something different and flashy and trying to sell it. This is extremely sophisticated and dedicated to the long-term investment of EB-5. I'm not interested in the investors of the past. We're here because we're interested in the investors of the future. And we need to face retrogression and redeployment. We need to have a good plan that's reasonable, that makes sense. So that's why this was put together. And again, to the prowess of our team and everybody here, we were working on this in 2018 because we knew it was coming before any of you did. And now today, 3 days ago, it's announced, or 2 days ago, it's announced and it's here, but this is already ready for you because we saw it coming.